Okay, think about this for a second. Where do you usually, pick up your vitamins or maybe some pain relievers? That corner pharmacy, right? Or
Yeah.
maybe a health store. But what if that whole way of doing things was, well, about to get seriously shaken up? Today, we're doing a deep dive into something pretty fascinating happening over in South Korea. It's this experiment, really. The rise of the warehouse style pharmacy. Sounds kind of different, right?
It really is. And we've got some great material to dig into here. There's this really insightful interview with the founder, the guy who started it all, plus various news pieces. So we get a pretty well-rounded view.
Right. So, our mission today, figure out what this new model actually is, why it's suddenly so incredibly popular, understand the pretty strong backlash it's getting from traditional pharmacists, and think about what it all means, for the future of buying health stuff.
Yeah, not just in Korea, potentially everywhere.
Exactly. Okay, so let's get specific. The main example everyone's talking about is this place called Mega Factory Pharmacy. It's in Sonam, Gyeonggi Province. And when I say pharmacy, you might need to adjust your mental picture.
Oh, definitely. The scale is, well, it's something else. Just the first floor, the store itself, is 460 square meters. That's about 130 p.m. So pretty big.
Just the store.
Yeah, and the whole building is 5 floors. The upper floors, they're used for parking, storage, that sort of
All
thing.
right, wow. And inside, what are they selling?
A lot. Around 2,500 different items. We're talking your standard over-the-counter medicines, sure, but also tons of health supplements, uh, quasi-drugs, which in Korea can be things like certain health drinks or medicated cosmetics, and even stuff for pets.
So it's way beyond just pills.
Absolutely. And the experience itself is different. You grab a shopping cart, you walk down aisles, you can actually browse, compare different brands side by side. It's designed for like one-stop shopping for health and wellness.
It really does sound like a supermarket for health stuff, which explains the nickname people have given it.
Exactly. Online, you see it everywhere.
Yeah.
People are calling it the pharmacy Costco.
The pharmacy Costco. That says a lot, doesn't it, about what people are looking for? Maybe not just advice, but choice and price, too.
I think that's spot on. It signals that shift. And the founder, Jung Do-sun, it's interesting. He actually ran a traditional pharmacy for like over 10 years, a really standard one.
Oh, really? So he came from that world.
Yeah, in John No 5e. But about 5 years back, he started thinking. He saw how popular warehouse stores were, but noticed their health sections were always, kind of small.
An afterthought, maybe.
Right. So his
Oh, yeah.
idea was let's create a dedicated space where people can really browse and compare all these health products easily. Fill that gap he saw.
So he saw an opportunity based on, well, his own experience in the traditional system. And how did people respond when he finally opened it?
Oh, it was explosive. Just phenomenal success, incredibly fast. Mega Factory Pharmacy opened Juneteenth, 2025, so really recent.
Wow. Okay.
And in less than a month, they were already getting 5,000 to 6,000 visitors a day.
5 to 6,000 people a day.
Yep. And on weekends, people actually do this open run thing. They line up before the doors even open.
Like for concert tickets or something? What's driving that? Just the prices.
That's a huge part of it. The word of mouth spread like wildfire, mostly because people kept saying it's cheaper than neighborhood pharmacies.
Mm-hmm.
For non-prescription stuff, that price difference clearly matters a lot.
5 to 6,000 a day?
Hmm.
People lining up? I mean, that's more than just popular. That's a genuine phenomenon. And the founder, Jang Do-sun, you mentioned he was surprised.
Apparently, yeah. The report said he was still reeling from how big it got, how fast. Which tells you something, right? Maybe even he underestimated the demand for this kind of thing.
He tapped into something huge, maybe without fully realizing how huge it was.
Exactly. But, when something disrupts the status quo that quickly, that dramatically.
There's bound to be pushback.
Precisely. And that's what happened. A major storm of controversy blew up, mostly coming from the established pharmacist community.
Right. And what are their main arguments? What are the traditional pharmacists saying?
Well, the core criticisms are pretty serious. They're accusing the model of basically degrading medicine, treating it like any other product on a shelf, like groceries.
Just a commodity.
Yeah. And they argue it undermines the whole professionalism of pharmacists, the advisory role. They also say it compromises the sort of public service nature of pharmacies.
And there's a concern about people just buying stuff they don't need, right? Like impulse buys for medicine.
That's a big one, too. The idea that medicine should only be bought when necessary, and minimally, not something you browse and toss in your cart. It's a real clash of philosophies.
It sounds quite intense. Has it gotten personal?
Unfortunately, yes. The backlash has been severe. There have been reports of doxing,
Hmm.
publishing personal info online, targeting pharmacists who chose to work at Mega Factory.
Yeah, and even threatening posts on pharmacist-only online forums. It actually got serious enough that the founder, Yang, had to pursue legal action.
That's serious pushback. So beneath it all, it's really about survival for the local pharmacies.
That seems to be the core fear, yes. They see this model potentially taking away a huge chunk of their business, especially the over-the-counter sales, and threatening their livelihoods.
Okay, so you have this intense controversy, these strong accusations, but legally speaking, where does this warehouse model actually stand? Is it even allowed?
That's a really important point. Despite all the noise opening and running a pharmacy like this, even a big warehouse-style one isn't actually illegal in Korea, as long as it's opened by a licensed pharmacist or herbal pharmacist.
Which Jong Do-sun is.
Correct. The Korean pharmacy law allows it. So legally, he's operating within the rules. He's just breaking the unwritten rules, the norms.
So he's not breaking the law, but he's definitely ruffling feathers. How does he respond to those specific criticisms, about degrading medicine, undermining the profession?
He pushes back directly. He argues, look, the target audience is different. He says neighborhood pharmacies focus mostly on prescription drugs, fulfilling doctor's orders.
Whereas he's focused on the OTC and wellness side.
Exactly. He claims he's not stealing their customers, but actually creating a new market, expanding the pie, basically.
Interesting take. And what about the pharmacist's role? Is it just cashiers in white coats?
He strongly disputes that.
Yeah.
He emphasizes that licensed pharmacists are always there, on the floor, available for counseling and guidance. He actually argues it enhances their professionalism.
It enhances. How so?
He says customers actively seek out the pharmacists. They see the gown, the name tag specifically for their expert advice within this big retail environment. It's just a different setting for that interaction.
So he sees it as adapting the pharmacist role to how people shop today, which kind of ties into a bigger picture, doesn't it?
Absolutely. He really believes this huge interest proves that customer expectations have changed. People want convenience, they want choice, they want to compare health products just like they compare, I don't know, electronics or groceries.
It's about meeting consumers where they are now.
That's his argument.
Yeah.
It reflects, as he puts it, changed customer expectations and standards for getting access to healthcare products.
And it sounds like he thinks this model has legs beyond just South Korea. What are his plans?
Oh yeah, he's thinking big. He explicitly talks about using Mega Factory's success as a launch pad to take this new pharmacy model international.
Really? Where?
He mentions places like the U.S., pointing to Walgreens, or Japan with Matsumoto Kiyoshi, basically, established markets with large drugstore chains, suggesting his model could fit in or even compete there. He sees it as potentially a global thing.
Wow. So what we're seeing here is this really fascinating clash, isn't it? It's modern consumer habits, convenience, choice, price running right up against very established traditional professional practices in healthcare.
It's a perfect storm of innovation versus tradition, convenience versus the established way. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah, what does this Korean experiment tell us about where healthcare retail might be heading everywhere else?
Are traditional pharmacies going to have to adapt somehow? Will they need to offer more convenience, maybe more comparison shopping to keep up? Or is this warehouse style just going to be a niche thing?
Is this the future mainstream way we'll buy health products or just an interesting outlier?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's definitely something to keep an eye on. And maybe think about next time you need to pick up some vitamins. Where will you end up going?